What is an African personality? And this personality was a figure. Is it a situation where it's arrested somewhere, or are we at liberty to shape it and design it in accordance with our own definition? You understand that, don't you? Africa. What is Pan-Africanism? The Pan-Africanism, do we understand it from established by the PAC, or is it a concept older than that? Because among Africans, the Pan-Africanism is actually an experience of an African people they got the icon prior to the arrival of white people. And when white people came into contact with African people, by this step and the process, you understand? By a mere definition of Amakama, Pan-Africanism, Pan means oneness in Africanness. You understand that? So, must start to operate from the context layer. So, we're the concept of South African state. What is the state? She have characteristics of state. And keep in mind, the basic document the PAC says or would destroy white supremacy. Won't destroy white supremacy means would destroy the so-called South African state. Won't destroy so-called South African state will establish in the Azania. Isolate macho. Africa. Manje umuzo ulatheni machoni. Sizwe destroy the South African state. And then upon can South African state be reformed? You understand? Sizwe reform because already concept is operating ngayo, concept yabo akuse yethu. You understand that long to English macho. So let's into half the time is important. Yabo njoba ngizobuyela futhi kwenye into engishilo majoni African personality. What is an African person? Sometimes people ngokwana ama Pan-Africanist simile la sisonke sipashe sibona ngalokho. Yabona. Mara half the time ukukhuluma into something abo agents kuyabo ukuthi icathulo sizigcokile akusezethu. Asisiproducer ngalicathulo. Understand? We are Pan-Africanists, but we don't carry ourselves in that manner because it's beyond just this political ideology. It speaks to an African personality, it speaks to a particular culture. You understand? We don't mean Africa what if must engage and say I'm African, you know, so I'm conversation here. Africa what the PAC, it's a Christian organization. That is very, very amazing. Yes, the founder fathers of Pan-Africanism, in particular, they were Christians, but the organization is not established on their religious belief. Their religious belief is their SIT. You understand? And furthermore, must see understand and must see the concept of Christianity is a Eurocentric, Gentile psychological vehicle. And is it working for the African personality? So, Africa, it's important to understand the history as a man prior to the arrival of white people, to understand what is the achieve because it is only through that particular history that establishing Azania and must establish the Azania to define Yiti, according to our experience, you understand, the realities when we create, seeing the arrest of Banyabantu, which is very funny. So we can use the African history as a point of reference, because in any case, there were states before the arrival of white people. If you study politics, the units about politics in Greece. But if you do not have a proper understanding of African history, you will then fail to realize the people that actually taught the Greeks, it is black people from Egypt. So the whole idea of politics is actually established by African people. The first university was built by African people. So we should use our achievement and history as an African people to then navigate a tale which is from shape a reality engine. Is related to Africa. We should have a culture of reasoning among sons and daughters. We reason, we sharpen one another. but elevate into a better understanding. And that particular better understanding, one thing for sure about that particular understanding, and if we will achieve also the one vision the PAC, they are coming for you.
Yeah.
They are seriously coming for you. And the from the power. As much as I will from the power. I understand I don't do that. And this is the PAC that I've learned this far by taking a basic document and just studying them, reading them. The PAC, some of the things that it says is very prophetic. It glimpse into the future to see and understand they understand how much. There's this motto PAC what was taken by the Ghana can only be brought back or liberated by the Ghana. I leave it to the same. In whatever that we do, in whatever thinking or reasoning is in elevating one another, they all should form part and parcel of what is the reality that we need to go through. Is Africa.
I want to first give a little bit of context to why we have a political class. That document is a basic document of the PAC, and it's got the constitution of the PAC from 1959. And I want to take it from there, and I want to quote number 16 in that document, in the constitution. It says the duties and the functions of the branch executive committee. And obviously there is one particular one that I want to speak to, that attracted me here. But I'm going to read through all of the duties and the functions of the PAC. To carry organizational and propaganda work amongst the masses in order to acquaint them with the standpoint of the PAC. To carry organizational and propaganda work among the masses in order to acquaint them with the standpoint of the PAC. Number 2, to keep in close contact with the masses and to report periodically their experiences to the regional community. Number 3, to study the educational and cultural life of people in their area. Number 4, to foster the spirit of initiative amongst the masses by taking a leading part in organizing them to solve their own problems. To recruit new members and to collect the PAC membership dues. To forward the list of members to the regional executive committee. African personality. Africa before the coming of the white people. What happened? And because very often as stating Africa. So even if Siteta liberated Africa, it's an imagination of us going to sit in the white man's parliament. We cannot imagine any new world, a new civilization. And I think that's the duty. And that is what Osobukwe were about. The generation young. They were not about reforming the institutions, the white power. They were about creating new institutions, developing a new civilization for Africa, charting a new way of life for Africa. We have to have our own systems of government in Africa. We cannot be caught up between, for example, the economic world views, the Europeans, the Indo-Europeans, whether you're talking about the Western or the Eastern. Some, they talk capitalism. Some are going to only be locked in this notion of socialism in the Western concept. That is why also they defined ARD socialism. That is African socialism. So by the Tetu team, what were these institutions as they called? You see, and not that also German Dilaba Africa, I like to bring books because what that also say And I think it is important that as sikhona silapha singama-Afrika to read and to learn about imbali. One of the most greatest Africanist historians, Thando Sipuye, even quote here in the basic document, is Dr. Check under Dior. Even Thando Sipuye, I tell about civilization, or I tell about humanity, the origins of humanity. I tell the Africoids, I tell the Caucasoids, and all of the Mongoloids. He was quoting from this great African man, Cheikh Anta Diop from Senegal, who was the first black man who disproved Europeans in their own conferences, where they were talking about Egyptology, where they were claiming that the civilization as Egypt is a white civilization. And if it's not a white civilization, that civilization was created by aliens from outer space. It could not be created by moAfrika. And it was Cheikh Anta Diop, no Professor Theophile Obenga, who went into that so-called Egyptology conference and disproved all of their claims and proved that actually moAfrika in ancient Egypt are connected to all of the Africans right through Sub-Sahara, right up to Upper Azania, by linguistics, by culture, by religion and so forth. He proved it, even scientifically, that Cheikh Anta Diop, you see. He's known as one of the greatest African historians. He was a multi-genius, a scientist at the same time, an anthropologist at the same time, that Cheikh Anta Diop. You see, Diop proved that Abantu Egypt were black people, African people, the founders, and he did not only prove, only saying it, he proved it with evidence, archaeological evidence. He went into Egypt and studied the history of Egypt, studied the pyramids, studied all of the other institutions as the ancient Egypt. And he said that his civilization as Egypt is actually the youngest. Kulapho ifike ya crystallizer khona. Ama-Afrika had perfected his civilizations zabo. And he traced the civilizations coming down from the south. Ethetha ngemonomotapa civilizations ezazilapha. Imaphumbuko civilizations that reigned here. The Karanga Empire. Then now namhlanje uthiwa Great Zimbabwe. You see, ethetha ngekumkano Kalanga and all of those people who reigned right up to Malawi and showed and proved to Africa some of the oldest pyramids that you can find in Africa namhlanje. Zilenda ukuthiwa iNubia Sudan. In ancient Sudan, in Meru, you see, actually, here's a picture of one of them. No. You know, these are the oldest pyramids. As is the Egypt pyramids, where the youngest one, because that is when Africans had perfected the science of building pyramids. Yes. And the pyramids were not just pyramids for amusement. Those were institutions of learning, higher learning. Pyramids, as in born ancient Kemet. Actually, even in Egypt, because Egypt is a Greek word, Ligaman is Greek. The original word, according to Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop, is Kemet. 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 K-E-M-E-T. The word Egypt means black, the land of the blacks. The word Kemet means black. And it was the people of Kemet who came up with the sciences of chemistry. Yes. Chemistry, the science, yabantu base Kemet, abantu bamnyama moAfrika se Kemet. You see, they came up with the physics. They came up with mathematics. You see, moAfrika besechilo, the architecture and all of those scientific disciplines, the philosophy and all of those things. moAfrika uthethile earlier what even some of their Greek philosophers, they teach the philosophy in Africa. They teach about Plato or Aristotle and all of these philosophers. Abandwana they mathematics. They study something called the Pythagorean theorem. They study about Pythagoras. But Pythagoras was a student in Kemet. He was taught by a black man called Imhotep, an African man. Imhotep, who Pythagoras studied for more than 2 decades in Egypt. Or Plato, 2 decades in institutions of learning in ancient Egypt, in Kemet. This is the picture of the oldest university, the oldest university in the world is in Africa. The Sankori, Landa Timbuktu. Today, a Mali fireman. You see, this is the oldest institution of higher learning in the world. The oldest university. And like I said, this was not the only university that Africa built. If you go to ancient Egypt, some of them were chiseled in mountains. You see in Africa, through engineering, high-tech engineering. The temple of Hatshepsut, university, it was called the temple of Hatshepsut, named after our queen. Hatshepsut was the ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. They taught the sciences of chemistry, physics, mathematics and everything, all these disciplines about Tetangazo, where's universities. If you check even the structures, how they built the architectural structure as pillars, it's the same pillars about 7 courts. If they have any court, the libraries, the universities, all of them have these pillars. They copied the architecture from Africa. You see, and they claim they built a civilization. You see, so this is the true history of Africa that we need to learn about. So we had these civilizations. We had the civilization of Ghana. The reason why Nkrumah renamed the so-called Gold Coast into Ghana is because Ghana is the oldest, was the name of an old civilization that reigned there. We had the empire as the Songhai empires. Imperialism, the colonialism, only with the coming of whites recently, after European Renaissance. We need to go into those civilizations. We need to go into what Chancellor Williams, he called it the destruction of black civilization. And here he talks about how a civilization Zetu were attacked by these Arabs in the north at first. And how they destroyed the civilization Zetu and they assimilated, created, raped our women and created the hybrid races. And that is how most of those nations today are not black like us and Africans like us. It is through a process of assimilation. They did it deliberately. You see? They were breeding. It's the same system they did at Azania. They developed the very same system through, the so-called color.
Just to add to the clarification, moAfrika now ubhale incwadi ibizwa nge-ISS paper. Igama loMafrika ngikhohle ukuthi ubani, but incwadi ukuthi kwamele sibe nayo amajoni sifunde.
Francis Wilson.
Yebo. UMafrika uthi lapha that particular phenomenon uMafrika akhuluma ngayo yokubreeder abantu. What happened is when the white men came out of England, immediately maqaqeda ukuphuma eKV, thina sesilefera. Wathi hey man, kwenzakalani? You understand? Waphuma after iRenaissance yakhe waya kwezinye indawo Mabafika lapho realize they were putting. Why people cannot create or recreate themselves outside of themselves. Meaning to say that Mabaphuma baya eBrazil or bafika lapho sekhona abantu abamnyama bafikile la prior to them. Bameita nabantu balapha, abantu balapha baba nemelanin. Balethi civilization azange baba colonize babuyele emuva ama-Africans. You understand? Now when these white people arrived, they realized that no, it's no problem now. Each gene that I want to have is strong. Because any other time, if be it, I'm not teaching understanding yet you are latest from PAC. I'm an African. If for example, I'm not talking about Mumzulu, Mshangana, no mama, Umsuit, Umdwana Umzulu, I mean, yeah. Must approaches is the sustenance logic of which and some language apply now when you live with other people. If as Mundomyama, Ubaba, Ushamana, Lumdum, Umdwana Ubayini, I'm not Kalat. Not Kalat is a nice way of saying like Mundomyama. You understand? I'm going to say Sutuba. Now must change the city so no mama. Wow, Umdwana Ubayini. Mundomyama. Why people realize they cannot reproduce themselves outside of themselves. You understand? For example, if we were to say as African people, we only reproduce amongst ourselves, the white race can be eliminated. Because as they breed amongst themselves, Homo sapiens, we as African people, we have each Homo sapiens, of which those are humans. You understand? Neanderthals. Abelu. And Mafunda is Neanderthal, but because they were doing an inbreeding. So Abelu Mawapuma, out of Europe, they realized that they cannot reproduce themselves outside of themselves. And that in itself, it's hatred. Hatred, hence them going out to destroy Africans.
Africa is the origin of humanity. According to Diop as well. And Diop also further speaks about what he calls the two cradle theory. You see? And what he means that Diop is that there were two cradles. So he dismisses completely this idea that we have a same origin as white people. And uteta exactly there is Homo sapiens sapien. Apinde ati, this is the Grimaldi man. Completely low. These, they do not have any root that is connected at all. You see. And Europeans evolved out of Neanderthal. You see. And Neanderthal lived in regions that were cold. Now, he is trying to explain the behavior. Why do they behave in this way? Which is the same thing Umar Remba Ali wanted to do, Pagu Yorugu. The word Yorugu is the same, Mulungu, Lum, Lehua. It is a definition, we must define concepts. Slave trade, for example, he moves us away from talking about transatlantic slave trade. Because that is a European conception. The Europeans has conceived that experience was a transatlantic slave trade. It was not a trade. And she calls it moAfrika. And moAfrika is an experience of trauma, generational trauma. It's an Holocaust. It's genocide. Another concept, the personality to Africa, and she defines it as an asili, S-I-L-I. Abroad in the States. So they're trying to take concepts that say Africa, Africa, and defining as concepts. European personality. They said European asili. You see. they are silly. Even certain African personality, the African personality, they are silly. What is our personality? Because that is what defines us. It's what makes us unique from any other people. You see, it's the same concept I said in the Africa, Moalana Karenga, or say America the same, who redefined the so-called Christmas and came up with the concept that Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a concept esinayo apha. Apha komswati kuthiwa inqwala. You see, different African people, nations, when we owned umhlaba, we always had a festival of the celebration of the first fruits. Because asilima. You see? But because today we are not connected to umhlaba, we cannot relate to as concepts. Why do we need to celebrate these things? Because we can't relate to them. For you to get food, you cannot conceive of getting food from a garden. Picking up the fruits from a tree. This is not something you can conceive at all. Yeah. So this is how it's part and parcel of the genocide. That is why I talk about redefining a completely new world. And this is what also Buko wanted. They did not want Africa to continue staying citizens of developer. What do you mean developing? You know, a ghetto. How do you develop a ghetto? How do you develop that? You see, so we need to recreate, you know, a new world, a new society. And this is the kind of work that awaits Africa and PAC. Africa need to redefine how can we create a new state? How does the state look? And we know what the state is not limited to the borders. It's got 1886, the Berlin Conference. So what do we mean by our state? How is it going to be confined? Put a United States of Africa. How is it going to be? Are we going to look like the United States of America? Is that what we talk about, the United? What do we mean? How will it be? That is the work we need to do. As long as there are no people who are sitting and conceptualizing these things, writing things down and saying, this is how the state will look like. This is how government will look like. This is how, are we going to have a democracy? What is the democracy? Let us define it more. Is it the same definition? Democracy. And here, Chancellor Williams, he's talking about our own constitution. How was our system, our state constituted? Our own democracy. How was it constituted before the destruction of black civilization? Before civilizations that were destroyed? You see, my friend. Actually, there's another book you play green. What's the green book called? Uganda. You know, they show you there, you see. Political power in pre-colonial Uganda. Political power in pre-colonial Uganda, which means we had political power in Africa before the coming of the Europeans. So we do not need to define, you know, how our state will look like after European models in Africa. There's no need for us to define economics after European models. You see, we have our own conception and so forth. And I have spoken about, you know, our civilizations, the Bantu, the Akan, the Igbo civilizations. All of these civilizations, according to Tata Diop, were connected. You see, one of the other things that Diop says, which I want to say here, and it may be controversial in Africa, but Tatu Diop, I usually say Utatu Sobukwe. He studied with Diop very well. Tatu Sobukwe. He studied the anthropologist Diop, and that is how he was able to conceive some of his ideas in terms of civilization and humanity and so forth. However, Thando Sipuye said in that Egyptology conference, there is only one race. In that Egyptology conference, there is only one race, and that is the African race. All others are mutations of the African. That is the code. And that is where Thando Sipuye took the code that there is only one race. You see, and he said the human race. But I want to say that before him, Thando said it in one of these books. It's just that I won't be able to take him words at the exact quote. There is only one race, and that is the African race. All others are mutations out of the African. You see. Let us keep that in mind. You see, moAfrika. Because scientifically and historically and otherwise, you see, we are the mothers of civilization. You know. So our claim, one of the other things, our claim is not only to be Africa, because we are the indigenous people of the world. When you talk about Australia, it was not owned by those white people now who claim that Australia is yabo. When these settlers run and they say they're going to Australia, they're going to other settlers there. People who colonized the indigenous Tasmanians, the indigenous Aborigines there. And Mexico the same. You see, you talk about America. America was not built by the white people who own the White House. Those are settlers, British settlers who went there. And that is why America could in New York, who call in New Jersey, because the old Jersey, old York, all of them are in England. And they went to build a new civilization. They killed the indigenous people of America. You see? Yes. For Christopher Columbus, when they arrived there, same like Jan van Riebeeck, same like Vasco da Gama, they came there as murderers. The indigenous people and destroyed the civilization. And the pictures are one I love speaking about the pictures, because pictures tell the story. I mean, they may not exactly tell the stories about America, but this year is the same thing they did all over Africa. These were the Nama people, the Nama and the Herero. We all know the stories. Abantwana bethu namhlanje xa befunda ezikolweni eAfrika bafunda ngekuthiwa i-Jewish Holocaust. Kuthiwa i-Jewish Holocaust was the worst Holocaust ever. Hitler killed 6 million Jews. As Europeans killed more than 600 black people, 600 million black people. More than 600 million black lives were lost. And they continue to be lost. I'm not talking about genocides as they today with the diseases about engineering. I mean, we all know what they created this disease. By confess, they even spread it. We know Dr. Death of Hotel Passon and all of these other murderers. And cholera, as this man is Bulalaban, Zimbabwe, Ebola, these are synthetic diseases. It's engineered. It's part and parcel of warfare, military warfare. And this is maybe which we will talk about when we talk about military warfare, military strategies, military science. Because we need to talk about that. We need to educate each other about this. Biological, chemical, and other kinds of military, institutional and otherwise, son of the soil, you see. So, I'm going to see this in the meeting, but maybe not everyone was here. But because after they did everything, 1909, Bambata was the last battle that we fought. We fought everywhere in Africa. They used to call it Kafir Wars. They have books, they've written about the Kafir Wars. All of the kings, you see, across the nations ama-Africa, Osikukuno, Mushweshwe, Yinza, Bambata, all of them, they fought in battles, you see, to crush and defeat these Europeans. And most of them, this is what they used to do. They cut the head, they send it to the ruling king or the queen of England, used to receive these heads as skulls. And they use them as a trophy, as a symbol of victory. You see, same thing about the Enza Up. I spoke about in the Herero and the Nama. These were the first camps, concentration camps that were built by the Germans in Africa. You see, you know, a man about Situa, General von Trotter, he was the first Hitler. Africa should know about that person. Before we can know about the white man called Hitler, we as Africans must know about the white man called General von Trotter, the most murderous general, Germans, who killed the Bambetu. You see, the Herero and the Nama people decimated by the millions. Wabilda is in the concentration camp, Shark Island. Shark Island. That is where our people were kept. You see, Namibia, Africa. You see. I bet I was forget your. We call it, you know, like animals. That's all.
And what's the Gurumela Pansi that way? You
know, and in the United States, this is what they used to do. It was called lynching. It was named after a white man called William Lynch. William Lynch. When they lynch a black man, they do it in public. They used to call it festivals. They used to sell tickets in order to go and lynch a black man at the state. William Lynch, he designed the system of how to create generational trauma on the slaves. And he said that if they maintained, you know, that brutal assault on the slaves, they will be able to maintain, you know, their economic power over the slaves for generation after generation. And that is why in Africa, Africa will raise our children to go and work for the white boy. Yes. Even the most so-called educated black child works for a white boy. Yes. We cannot create industries. We are not creating any industries as of Africa. We are not industrious. We are qualified slaves and servants. We have mastered the art of working for Umdomhlo. We have degrees, masters, diplomas, but we cannot do anything for ourselves. Cannot create anything for ourselves. You see, the same lynching. They ban a black man at the stake, and they come and take a photograph, a pose. You see? It was amusement. The word picnic comes from pick a nigger. Pick a nigger. They would pick a nigger. And for that day, it was amusement. It was a family day for all of them. That is the day when all of them come and gather, even Nabandwana Boma Africa. You see, even with their children. I want to show this one, even with their little ones around. Because they wanted to make sure they pass it on to the next generation. So we ask how to treat a so-called kafir, how to treat a nigger. This is how you treat an African person. Children come and watch. The picture exclusive. This is everywhere they did it. Their children are always there. And this is the same thing by Nzileyo, Oma Zimbabwe, and everywhere else they went. That's why Amachone Swapo Ibulawagan by the Portuguese. The Kufut and all of these other murderers This is how they used to do. They kill a black man and then they take a photograph. Yabo. This is the hunt. They were hunting. Yabo. Like hunting animals. So you trophy, yabo. You are like a trophy. You see? Zimbabwe. Execution by hanging. These were some of the members of the first Chimurenga, the first revolution, people who were fighting against the settlers of Zimbabwe. And this is how they were killed. You see? So, in destruction of black civilization, in destruction, Yama Africa, Ongama Africa bengataya resist, abulewe, abubibo. Sin. The same thing was done to Bigo. You all know the story, moAfrika. Tortured, driven, 12 hours from a by PE to Pretoria Central, chained, naked, at the back of a Land Rover. The son of the soil, Bigo. You see? Same story, the same modus operandi was used to destroy African civilization and enforce these devils that we have now in our homes, in our churches everywhere. Put these ideas in our minds. Put these ideas in our minds. These were murderers. This white boy is that white boy called Peter Stuyvesant. Peter! Peter Stuyvesant, moAfrika. You know, Peter Stuyvesant, one of the things that's interesting about him, he was a military general of the Dutch VOC. The Dutch East India Company. Peter Stuyvesant. Okotli. All of these others, you see, these are names, Zabo Rothmans, the white boys. You go into labels we wear, or you know what, Levi's, all of these things, the brands and so forth. You know, there's the murderous imperialists, because that is how they built their power. That is how they built these companies. You see, they built it on the backs of black people. You see, they built it on the backs of the slavery, the empire, their global empire. And most of, like I had said, institutions zabo. We will talk maybe even Caesar as class moAfrika. But in terms of how they modeled their institutions, the architecture zabo benchilo, their courthouses, whose born as pillars. What do these even pillars mean? As well as born out as temples. What do they mean? They have meaning and symbolism according to moAfrika. There were mainly 42 of these pillars in most of these temples. And those 42 pillars stand for something that was called the 42 laws of Ma'at. And the 42 laws of Ma'at were the principles of justice, truth, righteousness, balance, reciprocity, and all of those things. Umthetho wethu was built on the concept of Ma'at. And Ma'at is symbolism in ancient Kemet. There's something that symbolizes, yeah, this is Ma'at, the symbol of Ma'at. That's ancient Kemet, symbolized by a woman with wings. You know, sometimes she is standing before these scales of balance, symbolizing justice. Because that is what Ma'at represented in ancient Kemet. It is out of the 42 laws of Ma'at where white people came up with this concept of the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments existed thousands of years. They came out in the 42 laws of Ma'at. I was founder. It's a pity I have not printed them. We'll print them, because that's the other level of nursing. We need to print out these materials and have it. There's DVDs, there's things that we can watch that also speak and educate about this history. Because, like I have said, irreligion now, as bafike impose upon us, the concept of Jesus Christ. thousands of years before there was a white man called Jesus Christ, this white boy called Jesus, there was a black man called Heru. Mati Greeks Tabembiza Horace. Uheru was born on the 25th of December out of an immaculate conception by umama wake ekuthiwa ngubani Isis Osset. This is the father mother trinity, the concept of the Holy Trinity. But the mother, you know, I mean but the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. Because the Europeans naturally they hated women in their culture. They detested women. But they adopted a patriarchal culture. Women had no place in their society. So they eliminated women from the concept of God, from the idea that women can be part of the Godhead. So the so-called Holy Spirit represents the mother. You see, Africa has the concept of umama, utata, and umtwa. And that is the trinity of life. Because it is out of that union that you have continuity of everlasting life. Generation after generation. That is why you are here. And that is the concept of everlasting life for our Africa. You see, the perfect trinity of the Godhead. You see, Africa. So I don't want to talk about Africa. I think it would be great to, you know, see open up and engage each other. You see, on these concepts in Africa. Yeah, I think maybe stand there. Is within Africa. Africa is within.
Okay, Matoni, obvious. So, banalo question and answer session or Mafuko
More Roman Catholic, ne? You check ama saints, ne? Ama saints are about but have you learned kuti Africa, ne? Abantu abagqoka isamba, abantu abamnyama and abasithanda sonke isamba. But you never saw ama saints aphethe isamba. Agqoke isamba angisazi Zola. So you look at the concept in Roman, in a currency, euro currency, and then in Roman Catholic it has all over the world, which the allegiance imali yakona iyabu. Israel too.
Yeah, Africa. Israel.
You are very eloquent in your articulation, and it's feeling more emotional or spiritual somewhere. And it tells about you are spiritual beings, and this emotion. I can hear the education, I can hear the concept as it is taken higher. City religion versus African spirituality. See, manifesting into African spirituality, if that's the right word to use. And how we then institutionalize that to be an institution that will try to counter. Then, I guess now, the institution is colonizer. So broadly so, in manifestations, mobile bands. And then, City Game Africa, while we are doing that, Sigui processing over 18. I'm going to speak in reality to you. Looking at the short, mid and long term objective as a branch. Currently, Sisugagwe AGM, we are going to the regional congresses, provincial congresses, and the national congress. How do we then ensure that as concepts and this information, say Tata, sim manifested, leading towards a paper or a policy that will ensure that ezizinto zenzeka apha emntwini but ayizozinto eziphelela nje uba sithethe ngazo eAfrika. Because what I've learned kwa-PAC sibahle ngothetha but turning into those things into practicality sisipractice iba yingxaki because nandiyiva mna ndiphulaphula amazindi umuntu oqala ukuziva ezinto eAfrika. It becomes very difficult to comprehend lento in reality. Njengoba ke wenza umzekelo uba na uhlala etyotyomeni, how do you relate with the concept yomkhosi woweshwama as is perceived in KwaZulu Natal? How do you relate to those things? So siyenza njani ke thina between i-organization yethu masike simove from being just an organization to be an institution. Ndifuna nje eAfrika ukubasponsor lapha izwe lethu.
Africa, izwe lethu. Ma-Afrika, Africa uvusa amaziko. Ma-Afrika kunesinye isisho la abanokuthi sometimes you understand the present. You must compare the past in order to understand the present. Namhlanje ngibuzwe kwagcwala. Nakuba ngakaze ngibuzwe konke past. Kodwa i-one disenconfuse ama-Afrika. Africa umakhasikazi ngiyibekile noma-Afrika uthira. Kanti na previous ke yabekwa Africa umakhasikazi wase-Jamaica no-Africa uDu Bois. Kodwa kusesenzima thina as ama-Africans ukuthi sibuye sihlangane. For an example, kunama-Afrika ase-West Indies noma wabheka e-TV ama-Africans but basesine-inferiority ukuzi-accepta as ama-Africans. So kuba difficult kithi as ama-Africans ukuthi igoli ye-Afrika ukuthi size sihlanganise ama-Africans sizoyi-achieve kanjani nini when if mangabe sesenama-Africans asafila shame ukuthi abama-Africans. For example, enye iqula ngikeza yona uma-Afrika nangodumela odlala igolf uTiger Woods. Ngeke ngabheka enye indaba wayenamahloni ukuzisho ukuthi um-Afrika and uma umbheke e-TV um-Afrika lo muntu sizofika nini isikhathi njengama-Africans ukuthi sizi-appreciate sikhona uku-achieve igoli yokuthi one of the good day i-Africa as a continent ihlangana njengoba u-Afrika ogave ashile ukuthi abantu bokuqala abakhona ase-Afrika nama-Arabs. Ama-Arabs ase-Liberia, ama-Arabs ama-Afrika ase-Liberia, e-Libya, e-Morocco, Central Africans still basa-adopta i-Islam njenge-religion e-best for all. Izwe lethu.
Africa. Yeah, ama-Afrika party ngizothi kancane but umbulelo sakayishila izinto into ebalulekile is to put this thing into practical. Ngoba if we can talk after that iyaphelela. And what is important is to build the youth. We must build the youth, come up with an institution generally in Africa. We start nenye vision bengihlala ngihleli ngithi at least lo mntana lomncane lo khayisini ufunda la kule crash. Le crash lena nambe ngifunda khona. Le crash into abamfundisayo ama station ase crash. Ngangwafunda nami. Emothi uthi station inyone inhlanhla enyathi buka lapha into tennis shot. Nami ngifunda le. So this thing iyangikhila mafutha. Lo mntana uzosuka lapha ya ayebeni. Asuke ebuhleni ayeliyola asuke eliyola high school. Asuke high school akana skill akana max. Ayikho into esiyenzile. So this thing in Africa is a challenge. But we must start as Africans. At least we create If practical, we create crash. Who has in experience, in knowledge, your music, and Tata Manyama Africa's your music. Establish a crash abantwana bethu as Africanist, as an Africanist. Start a crash, we get a space in the piece of land, yana ngoba silawule township, lesingakwazi ukwenza next Africa ship. And put izinto kusasa ukuthi umntwana makaqala libakhulu azi ukuthi umusic udlala kanjani, ezingazi music azi ukuthi le note leli yini, quaver, crochet yini, le line lena, stave, sibizwane. Lezo zinto lezo umntwana makakhulu amasakatha ngani, at least saka ne skill esithize angayenza ukuthi to entertain, ngoba sazi as African lapho esikhona siyacula, maskhala kuyacula, sijabulile siyacula, siyatutu siyacula. Music is a part yethu. So at least let's establish something as African, but is a base as a corner of Africa from our branch. But let's establish something. Singa Tatis card. Contribute to Lagos corner, we start with a recorder, we buy books of music, we teach, we open the crash, whereby le esas yogut labantwana laba sesiyayikhuluma this thing. Abantwana bazoyenza i-education right. Ngoba this education etholakele lapha essentially for khona. As ama-Africa shile ukuthi kuphethwa ama-masters, ama-degree, at the end goes yakubhasa. Thina siku-system, we protecting i-system ka-queen. Ngoba u-queen makakhohlela, nathi we must sikhohlela. Last time Africa bokune 40th anniversary ka-Gaddafi before bambulala. We're supposed to see Zola lapha neze band NCG. uGaddafi Britannia release lo Africa lo wabhoma lapha wabhoma le plane le wayephumile. uGaddafi was celebrated as a hero. So as a South African Defence Force iband bekumele uGaddafi wayesimemile kumele sodlala lapha. Asipatalela kukiplane angafuni imali la eSouth Africa. So what's happening in Africa? iBritannia yakhwehlela yathi hey South Africa niyaphi lapha yana no celebrate nalomuntu ojabulele ukushaya le plane le. Angathi asaniboni kahle. Yakhanselwa itrip kumele kusasa sigibele umuntu oye in charge esiphethe wese bamjikisa airport. Ubonise ukuthi we are serving interest ka queen. If iBritannia mighty South Africa ningayenzi lokho South Africa responda iyathanda. So Africa situation esikuso nathi asikho mnandi. We are not happy ukuba iphathe lapha ya ngoba nathi sangena lapha na sifakwe isystem ePC to compromise ukuthi asiyendi lapha na to get skill. We've got the skill man, it's a time to act. But let's start somewhere and build lento lena abantwana bethu sibanikeze this talent and train and prepare for the revolution. It's time for revolution. We can't talk. Yes, abantu bazi what's happening, even the knowledge. After that, we implement. What is important? Implementation. Ngoba sisahlangana nabanye abafana no force until the EFF. Since abafana niyadlala bulalana amabhunu. Nizokwazi ukuthola umhlaba. But hayi sizochatshwa ngetreason. Nisaba treason. So Africa we've got the problem. So we must sense izinto zenzeke. Siqale and plan it ukuthi lento siyenzayo siyenza ngendlela right and we are not failing. As history yasivumela ukuthi yithi abanikazi bomhlaba and we must do it. Isolate. Isolate.
Africa. Africa mina just ngiyikarisi izecela dulo njengama Africa besikhonza dulo as ama Africa njengoba boyibekile right. Okwesibili Africa into engicela ukuyibuza kulezi zinto lezi zama uyabona la ku human time kunala abantu laba bathi imisela then blah. I just need clarity lapho ukuthi yes. And then fast forward in Africa kuna lento ethi uShaka, I mean, all the nations zitabuka kwaZulu, right? So now were there amanye amalokuzana amanye nation uShaka aye ahamba wafike mhlambe wawalokhuza i-clarity leyo engicela amaAfrika izelethu Africa.
The first point into moAfrika about the Roman Catholic Church and that they've become global and and I want to say moAfrika, it's not only the Roman Catholic Church, and all of these churches that we have here around here, whether you're talking about the Anglican Church, whether you're talking about the Wesleyan Church, John Wesley, you see. And one of the things that's interesting about some of these missionaries who came here, like John Wesley, these people were soldiers, but he came here disguised as a priest with John Wesley, you see. So you have now a so-called Methodist church today, you see, which is a Wesleyan church. We see the teacher of it is Wesley is Wesley, you see in Africa. So this is the modus operandi of the world, whether it's the Romans, whether it's the English, whether it was the Portuguese, or whether it was the Dutch with the Dutch Reformed Church, it's the same thing, you see. And we articulated about Echrafrenet. One of the things that was interesting in terms of the architecture of Echrafrenet is that each church, Dutch Reformed Church, the Anglican Church, and Echrafrenet, as you enter in town, they are surrounded by the banks. All of the banks are around them. And now, in modus operandi, the Roman Catholic Church, even the English Church, they are the richest churches. More than even the churches Zababa Prophet who are there. They are the richest, wealthiest churches ever. You see. Now the Pope is not just an individual jade. And even in Pope, there are two types of popes. This is something that other people don't know. There's the Pope who wears white, who is in the front, and then there's someone called the Black Pope, who wears black. Who's a military general now? You see in moAfrika. So Zambuti modus operandi, the church and the state, they've always worked hand in hand in terms of European imperialism. We can't separate the two. You see, so agenda yazo iwani napho, you see, amongst our people here. You see, so that's why ungena kwipoint kaMaAfrika but we need to build institutions. Beyond.
Sorry, Tony, before we move there, I want to connect the church and the bank. How do you connect it? So before you move to the...
Yes. No, I was going to that issue of the bank, the church, and the state. It's the economics when I'm African. Yes. Because as the banks, now, they were founded on slavery. As the banks, whether you're talking whatever they are, all of them, their economics are founded on the economics of slavery, imperialism, colonialism. You see, and all of these banks, the owners, the settlers, whether it's ABSA, whether it's First Rand or First National Bank, Standard Bank, Capitec, it's all European banking system. You see, the economics of you see. We have no bank, whether it's even the African bank, it's not owned by us, it's not our bank.
To add the point of Africa, we have to understand that if we study African history and we go back to the Berlin Conference and we go back to the point of departure, slavery, it is actually the Pope that actually blessed the entire process prior to Italy. You understand? There was the Pope of Philip, particularly speaking to the slavery, Massaisi Institute of Portuguese. You understand? In particular, Pope that said, what? This is a blessed process. You understand? And remember again, Christianity was the cornerstone of justifying the enslavement or the slave Atlantic trade, apartheid in particular. You see, so these things, they are paraphernalia is pushing us to one direction, which is the spiritual aspect of it, the commercial aspect of it, and going back to the religion. In religion, it's a paraphernalia. You control abantu.
And these institutions come into being as part of destroying civilization. This is when now Zizile, as the devils, as so-called explorers, to explore and study the continent. You see, the anthropologists they study the continent and before the coming of these missionaries who later came, you know. Now the missionaries serve the same strategies, anthropology. They call it the ethnographic or anthropology, where you go into a community and act and pretend as if you are part of that community. I'm studying the life of that's the kind of thing they did. Let me come and stay amongst the Kafirs. What do the Kafirs eat? What are their norms? What are their values? What do they believe in? Writing journals. You see. So in modus operandi, the operation you see, come and study us first, and then come and send who are going to come and attack directly local culture, ways of values, because they said it now, there's no way that we can be able to accept and take the if they are grounded in their culture. Yes, you see. The culture is what rooted us, it's what defended. The culture is like immune system, which defended us out of any disease. If your immune system is compromised, you are compromised. You die. So, the culture was our immune system. And when they attacked African culture and destroy African culture, they could invade us. Any disease, they could you see, and make us weaklings like we've become today. Because we're not grounded in culture yet. If you're as strong as Zizwe, who experienced colonialism, obviously not the same kind of colonialism we experienced, but some of those nations, Zola, they've managed to pick themselves up as it was the world superpowers today. You see China and all of these others, Japan, Korea, and all of them. They went through colonialism. Obviously, they didn't go through what we went through. We can't compare it and equate it. But what I'm saying is that they were also colonized in Africa. But because they are grounded in culture, their culture, they've been able to conceive vision. They create cars. They develop engineering systems out of the culture. Computers. The language is everywhere. We have not been able to reach there. And these are the things in their time, you see. Build institutions, be industrious. Africa, you see. As ideas, workshops in Chicago. And this is what even I think what Thando Sipuye in a basic document in the build our institution.
Johnny, there are theories as Nafan, and remember that particular theory of evolution comes from a white man. You see it. And as events unfold, with this particular understanding with the arrivals about TikTok, but discredit because one thing for sure is if we as people came from monkeys, I mean, my scassa so until now, because this is in monkey watch. Says I would say must trace their by I understand that don't. So it takes us back now to the understanding unity. In actual fact, there are so many Africanists before us, and particularly at a particular point in time, in furthering the idea of Pan-Africanism, by your study, particularly you see. So once it's a theory or understanding that in terms of who are we, Sibuya will be, then we will understand what's not a nonsense evolution. As much as white people were black people originally, then they came from Africa, Puma, due to climate. inole zabo za change, we understand that not inole zinde, amakhala change. No, it doesn't happen like that, because truth is, kona lapo and North Pole, bakona abantu guguti, they are as dark as with me. And ever since passing North Pole, about changing to become white, inole zabo is still kinky. They understand along the So this whole theory of evolution, it is a misleading theory that is put in place so that we then deal with it as African people rather than finding what is true to us.
Question, Johnny, regarding to the point that is raised currently. I just want to understand in Africa. There's also this theory that says an African has two genes in him. Therefore, he has the ability to produce all kinds of races. So I want you to elaborate on that and tell us extensively how is it possible that an African man has two genes and he can produce all races, and how do you then marry that with this theory of evolution?
Alright, the theory of evolution already is non-existent because abanye abantu today are in that particular discipline by disproving. That's I said. Now, uchomuze ngenye point important. Ukuthi from black comes all races. You understand I don't know. For an example is you can have umuntu omnyama, no mama umuntu omnyama, abawa nomntwana ukuthi uyi albino. Albino is closely related to white people, but it's not white. You understand? Now says Bela Wubi, Utioriga, Antiquo. Says Dilangani, Nama Homo sapiens, Nama Neanderthal. You could be light skinned because each gene was able to produce a lot of it. Name is slightly different. But Gua DNA is a Homo sapien DNA. It's not any. So, because you see now, we should avoid a situation where we are saying, Muti, this African person has two types of genes, from Goyo, Ikipe, in Neanderthal. In Neanderthal, we come from something different from us as African people. So we can be in a position to different shades of melanin. But those different shades of melanin doesn't necessarily mean we are literally producing a Neanderthal DNA from us.
And I think Nyani, that distinction is very necessary because, like Diop said, there's only one race, and it is the African. And then he says that all others is imitations out of the African. You see, so it speaks to the notion of out of Africa. You can have different shades. Albino. I'll say that about an albino person. We are talking about the situation when they get a genetic deficiency. The genetic deficiency, mutant. You see, that person lacks melanin content. You see, through that genetic deficiency. But Lamdui albino is not a European. It's not a Caucasian. The albino. It's an African. You see, the albino species. So it's important to note that two cradle theory of Ukrimaldi or Homo sapien and this one, you see, which is the offspring, which does not come out of the sun, out of the land. It's not rooted in the land, in the sun. It comes out of the ice. You see, they evolved out of the ice. So you can use the word evolution there, that they evolved out of Neanderthal, but they do not evolve out of Homo sapien. You see,
Africa, follow up. Okay, it's a follow up. Okay, it's a follow up, John. I'm not taking away from what it is. I'm not coming with something new. It's a follow up. Hence I'm making this follow up so that we get it correctly. Because why I've been asking that? Because the theory I am eating. Because two genes the brown gene produces a recessive being, and the black one it produces now. who is not recessive. And in Zambuti in Africa, from what I've just explained, now I get to understand why. In actual fact, it is virtually impossible for an African to produce a recessive gene. Because by recessive it means, albino, I explain, it's not equivalent to a white man, because who recessive in this manner. By recessive it means we can only produce one race from your genes as a white man.
Yes.
But an albino is able to produce now who is darker like you.
Yes.
Which now debunks the theory of umtomnyama. He can also produce a recessive gene. We don't produce that. It's pure.
white person ukuthi yena angayikhipha i-albino na ngoba if angakhona ukuyikhipha i-albino the very same thing kusho ukuthi ozolandela kuzoba umuntu omhlophe ngeke ukusaba i-albino ezinathi senza kanjani.
Okay, question like i-albino kulungiswe yona kanjani because already unobu-albino lo muntu nje in their natural form. Yeah, mangithi i-albino kusho ukuthi une-homosexual gene lesikhuluma ngaso sesithi ukuthi lo muntu is like unengulube ezithu ezimhlophe. You understand that akukho emnyama. You understand? So
ila concept Hitler babethetha ngayo of the master race amongst bona bezineanderthals. Amongst them they have a grading system yabo bona of which I don't think zokwazi ungena kahle, but uHitler wayesithi the one with the blue eye, blue was blue eye, the green eye, the one with the blondest blonde, that is the true European race.
yes,
According to him. Yes. You see, and that is where the contention came with these Europeans, the Ashkenazis. You see, coming out of the Caucasus Mountains now, where dark-skinned hair, brown eyes, and so forth born. You see, and Hitler said that this is not the true, this is not the pure white race. You see, so closer to the pure white race in the gold and blonde. You see, that is the true white race according to Hitler. Now they give birth to each other. You see, so maybe the albino.
The difference between an albino and a white man, the ability of a to produce an albino is not because of the melanin itself, but it's because of the gene itself. Umuntu omhlophe igene yakhe ayinamandla oba ingakwazi ukuproduce ezinye i-races or any form of melanin whatsoever. They accept lento ayiyo cha. Then i-albino yona, the only problem anayo is the melanin, not the gene. Each gene yakhe is correct, is dominant, is not recessive. Iyakwazi uba ingaproduce all other forms of races, if for lack of a better word, or melanin or texture. So in fact, albino, there is proof, biological or scientific proof about umuntu oyi-albino uzala umuntu ofana nawe nami uyakwazi aphinda wazale nama-albino afana nawe. But umlungu, there is no any evidence whatsoever scientifically ever since the time indefinite apho wake wazala khona umuntu omnyama. There is no way noma umuntu angahlangana nomuntu omnyama joni kuyindoda or ungumfazi angeke kuphume umlungu, kuzophuma umuntu ofana nomuntu.
The other question was moAfrika, the disunity amongst Africa, they feel ashamed. And I think it's a critical question because Thando Sipuye spoke to the question when they launched the status campaign. You see, I think we have a self-hatred, it's an inferiority complex in Africa. And that is why we have all of these issues as amongst him. and the self-hatred, the inferiority complex, the informers as the destruction, the attack, the onslaught, you see, you know, on the African people, you see, to cause us to see ourselves as disunited, like tribal things and so forth, you see, not to see ourselves as one united people, you see. And Vice Chancellor yase UCT, she's posing a selfie with Macron, Emmanuel Macron. And I'm asking her, Mama, do you know what Emmanuel Macron? The white nationalists. You know, these are people about the white nationalists. Every time Macron speaks, he speaks about France and Europe. Something which African leaders lack today. Because Tina, we are telling in South Africa, we are telling in Nigeria, Nigeria. We do not have that collective vision. You know, Yama African Kruma, to see us as Africans, you know, and as the states, as illegitimate states. So long as the states is called in the African continent, are illegitimate states. So we have an inferiority complex. We need to address that inferiority complex for public basic document, propaganda, educational programs to counter the propaganda every day. Look now, when you look on TV, TV, no DSTV, every program was I've observed is programs as you see. And you see, these programs are designed to attack the African family. You see. And more than anything, to attack the African man, black men in particular. You see. To destroy the warriors of the nation. You see. To make a black man seem insignificant. And create the idea of an independent black woman. We are moAfrika. So this is the agenda from the times of slavery, the destruction of the black family, through colonialism, destruction of black family, when they created the taxes and Yongelando to force that to leave the home and go and work elsewhere while they are raping our grandmothers. You see, when I'm afraid. So it's a strategy throughout, even now, the black family is destroyed. You see, and I'm glad but I push the idea with the black man, you are just an inferior nothing. Even our women, to see us as nothing. And in fact, to give birth to a child, they don't want a daughter, a child. And one of the things they are pushing now through cultural warfare is homo. They call it homosexuality. But there's nothing sexual about it. You see. And now maybe it's a lecture or something which we will talk about one day. Because it's an onslaught. I don't know moAfrika. I don't know insignificant. It's a personal thing. It's not the realm. It's a political agenda. It's a funded worldwide political agenda. Homosexuality. Yes. And that is why European countries, even funding, if and if you accept and legalize this thing. It's political from inception. So no understanding in the political classes now. So the inferiority complex and the self-hatred that we are still now developing the propaganda into Africa. Right now, as soon as we Africanists, as soon as newsletters, or anything that conscientizes us, you see. Hopefully, maybe out of these sessions, we can come out with those ideas. We can come up with, an education desk, focused on creating, propaganda material to teach our Africans those statements.
And I believe that what is Thando see build along as an organization. And it make the community to teach community, because one thing for sure with us is Thando because we are taught not to. It's not like it's a natural thing. The Hutus will say die as in the environment, the way by a king corner, it adds to that. i-success yabo mina ngapha anginayo makaphuma mangale aphethe i-cold drink or inana sekayaloya lo we-understand ne-environment ya-etha kuzo zonke lezo zinto lezo so ziningi lezi zinto kanatshoni but one thing for sure once we start to have uthando uyi-one nje wena uyi-one ucala sime kanje ubheke umbulelo kodwa ma-Afrika omuhle ma-Afrika omuhle ukuba sibahle yabo you-understand leyo nto leyo in itself it emulates from leyo nto leyo so izobuilda to these institutions ma-Afrika akhuluma ngazo these policies that size ngazo as African people to speak and deal with that izwe lethu
so we'll touch it when you mean because what you are asking will speak about European imperialism stated like Arab imperialism because I think legacy addresses the question of Arab you see and their imperialism using their religion now in the culture and how we've adopted the cultures as a foreign because whether you're talking Christianity whether you're talking the Muslim religion you see we're talking about the two wings of the same bird of white supremacy you see
the first human being who from the central point yase Africa we understand a lot of them central point yase Africa so if bazothi amaZulu wonke umuntu ubuya kubokushuthi enhle grand sharp ushuthi lapha eNatali all right abese ubamela ngapha le nalezi zase-Egypt zaphuphuka ziyale you understand a lot of them ile nto le ukuthi what I'm saying is it is untrue that particular teaching is untrue because it amplify the thing divide and conquer amplify the thing tribalism you understand amplify the ukuthi we are the life givers you understand and ikubulala lento ukuthi sibone as a complete whole sisonke siphelele you understand lento leyo izwe lethu
so mna ndingathi ngibongeza khona ngivumelana noma Africa completely ndingathi wena poqo I think the way maybe kufuneka siyifunde ngakhona is that abantu ekuthiwa ngamaZulu wena Africa they see themselves as part of the origins of humanity you see saying that's why naba bathi bona baziwa ngoba bangabesuthu nabo they see themselves ukuthi umuntu came from us because we are part noba umXhosa uthethe isiXhosa umvenda whatever we part of the same family same group out of which umuntu okanye izizwe came out of wena poqo and I think that's how we should read it you see outside of as bounds ngoba hayi sithi singamaZulu kanye sithi singamaXhosa kanye sithi ngabesulu who are superior out of which others came out funeka siyibone as singama-Afrika out of which ezinye izizwe came out of you see and singama-Afrika we are made out of nations nationhoods even before Europeans speak we had empires and states in njengoba besisitsho zizizwe eziyana those are nations and empires so now I would definitely disagree with the history as OT sonke siphuma out of into okanye nala history emfetane and there's a particular histories that we need to debunk wena poqo you see and I think ngokezihamba sizancedisana sibambane and try and revise the history because we need to revise that history sixelwe ngamabhuluba noShaka wayibulala amanye ama-Afrika esithi to build this Zulu kingdom and empire yonke lonto the rise of the Zulu kingdom xa beyibhala ezincwadini we need to debunk zonke ezo zinto wena
ngifuna question yama-Afrika la uyabona lento ukuthi amaZulu aphuma amanye ama-tribes aphuma kumaZulu ayikho leyo mawuthi abeka wena Thando sikhuluma ama-languages angafani if siphuma kumaZulu siphuma kanjani siphuma kuma-Nguni tribes then ama-Nguni tribes masibele sizaso siyana omunye nomunye ufuna ukuba inkosi omunye ufuna ukuba iking kanjani ngifuna ukuthi wena Thando ayikho lento ukuthi omunye uphuma kwaZulu omunye uphuma kanjani amaXhosa akho ebewakhona amaZulu akhona abesuthu bakhona ngoba sikhuluma ama-languages angafani uyabona masikhuluma isiXhosa nesiZulu khona la sihlukana khona kakhulu kanzothi iqaqala siqika uqaqaqala thawuka uqhoqhoqo yabona esibini ayikho leyo then iphuma leyo nto leyo you understand then ayikho leyo ukuthi ubani uphuma kuphi it's just ukuthi abanye baphuma sebabaleka ngale makubikwa bafika ngapha emaXhoseni kwaba amaXhosa njengamampondo nani exactly kwenzeka nakwanye kwamanye ama-tribes iswe lethu
okay Tony ngiyabona ukuthi uthini siyabonga Tony but mina ngihlale ngibuza umbuzo wami wakwamele sihlukane masilo phela why not decide ukuthi siyamove you understand ezinye zezinto hence we said we need to revisit this history yes you understand that we definitely have to because it's funny that umZulu like masenze ijinge there's northern Sotho there's South Sotho you understand that don't know and these people malalela kahle bakhuluma language one issue is just the pronunciation and malande lisisa grand lamagama ukuthi bathi ayi pronunciation amanye ama synonym you understand that don't know so ngihlale ngibuza ukuthi ku English as much as kunothi tomato nothi tomato why ngasi is South English kube North English we understand that don't know so it then says to us uJohn is nalo history sifundile let us revisit that particular history isiXhosa nesizulu 99.99999% a content iyafana you understand that don't know and who then said to us and defined to us ukuthi asifani fana labantu abalokuthi culture abantu abamnyama ayifani it's a lie it's a serious lie iculture yonke abantu abamnyama iyafana it's just smaller nyana things here and there you understand so why do we look at the smaller things to then enable them to determine ukuthi asifani sisonke you understand that don't know it boils down to futhi divide rule and conquer and as the Pan-Africanism wenza ubulala leyo division you understand that leyo nto leyo njalo manje
the Bible Joe our Bible was written in stones carved out and chiseled in stones if you go a Kemet today some of those Kemetic monuments in Africa most of the stories is by Bible from Genesis to Revelations are found in those stones as a Kemet. The Bible only exists in the last 600 years. Those stones in Kemet existed thousands of years ago. That's why I've been telling the idea that the idea of Jesus Christ is an idea as a Europeans during European Renaissance when I first learned. It's not an old idea, but the idea itself, they stole it from change. By change, they perverted and they corrupted it. So, when I about God the Father, Africa thousands of years ago, we came at God the Father, what's it on Osa? In Greek, but in Osiris. This is the Trinity, the state and you see, God the Father, you see. And when they talk about God the Son who became born out of Jesus Christ, thousands of years before this thing was conceived by whites, but Horus. You see, and then you see Horatius, you see. So, and then you have what they call the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit represents the mother of God or the mother of the Son. You see, of God, you see, which is Oset. Isis, according to Ellen. So that's why the idea of the Holy Trinity, it existed thousands of years before the Bible. The idea of the 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments were taken thousands of years from the 42 laws of Ma'at and above, you see. And many of the other ideas, as Tetwayo, prophet Jeremiah, prophet Isaiah, prophet, but all of these ideas predate, they existed in Africa thousands of years ago. Enoch, you know, Enoch, the scribe, existed thousands of years ago. Enoch. You've seen in ancient Kemet. You've seen Wenapoko. You've seen. So that's what I was explaining for Islamic Bible is a new idea, and the Bible it created where for the idea of Christendom. The Christendom was part of European imperialism. Same like the Quran is created as part of the Arab imperialism. To push this idea, to go and proselytize in the world, to convert the heathens. You see? Yeah, white boys,
Even West
Europeans, and without any apology, the history says so now.
the same Bible, there are contradictions with the Bible itself. You have Christians, Abati Bible has 66 books, and then other Christians who say the Bible has 80 books.
Yes.
Which there are other 14 books which were removed
Out of
the
the
country.
And are kept in the Vatican.
Exactly. And the same person at Africa, is one of the books where in the Bible that was removed.
But I think the most important thing that you have to understand is religion as it stands, as it's brought to us after it was stolen from us, it is now used as a political tool. You're an alleged. You understand?
Confused sonke the whole world. Then if I play right, the whole world is confused. If I play right.
There's no need for us to look for a right Bible in Africa. You see, there's no need for us to look for a right or a don't Bible. We are the word. We are the beginning and the end. Our culture was spiritual. There's no need for us to look back. The Bible, the right, Lina 66, 80. What are the lost books? No.
It's not
Foreigners. That's what it is. So I think that's where we need to go first now.
Is with the
Izolete. Nini madoda.
Africa mina ngifuna ukuthi nje if you can expand more the question here like before siba confusing us on our system, the way we did things, because there was whenever the king or ruler, the ways in those are corner the centuries, it was in the way leadership and followership, the pilisana in harmony. Bungagabi ne question yama profits and what even workplaces whereby now the main point in the yama profit and the way we died our old system whereby sipila ngakhona kwenzakalani before siba confusing ngazo zonke lezi.
As African people, in our defense and economical setup, we did not have a capitalist system, because capitalism, by definition, it tells you clearly it benefits the minority at the expense of the majority. So we are a majority, we are here already. We understand a lot, and that's not the idea of dominating Abanyabantu. So we would obviously see emulating a socialist understanding and a socialist setup. You understand a lot. Women played a major role. Depending on your age, the size, life, they would look at you and you would then have a particular role with alive in the society at large.
This foreign understanding of our mama is nothing. It's not our concept as Africans. There are many examples that we can look at. In fact, when you refer to nature itself, you don't say Father Earth. No, we say Mother Earth, nature as a whole. When you not start a concept of PAC, we don't say fatherland. No, we say motherland. And everything, now stronger even in our culture, in our civilizations, we've got many evidence which point to, oh mama, they were queens, they were leaders in those civilizations, and they were king makers in those civilizations. So it's important we must marry that relevantly within the context of our organization to say, if we we want to renew ourselves with our origins, our organization must also speak to that in addressing lendlala endiyibonaya apha lately yale testosterone egcweleyo. So we need to also to look at it. It is scientific. Uba if kugcwele amadoda odwa sizawubona izinto ezifana nezi ezenziwa ngama-Europeans. Because if you look at the European system itself, it's chaotic to human. As a result, because it's dominated by a male. But if where there are women, now civilization that's woman is progressive all the way.
Yeah, to add indaba yomama ukuza umntwana emhlabeni abomama bathatha iresponsibility yibo abakwazi ukukhulisa ingane yibo abakhera umntwana 9 months azavele amkhulisa amnyemezelele ekukhuleni kwakhe. And ngingene kwindaba yomhlaba, umhlaba if silima, if you plant iseed, iseed yiyo esinikeza ukudla lokudla lokukhulayo. Kusho ukuthi umhlaba umama ngoba kuwo lo mhlaba uye lo sinikeza ukudla. So we can't ukuthi separate abomama sithi abomama the queen. Kwezinye indawo nokudebate nasemsebenzini ama-Afrika khona ama-Afrika lawa akhuluma isiZulu. Ngathi hayi ngasizwa ngomfazi yini inhloko endlini. Sithi no, umama uyi-head ngoba without umama ayikho into ongayenza. Wena ungasho ukuthi ubaba ngoba uyahamba vele kumele umama uyophatha zonke izinto. So le conscious leyo engenile kithi kuma-Afrika ukuthi hayi abomama basappresswa ini yonke le into vele eza ngabo labo mabhunu nababuyele ngaphandle ukuthi nathi si-adopted that idea yabo ukuthi i-right. So mina ngihlale ngiphusha ama-Afrika nasemsebenzini abomama head yibo aba-in-charge ngazo zonke izinto. If ungabheka ama-Afrika, if ungena endlini if ekhaya uhlala akekho umama kuyabanda endlini, it's cold but makulomama uyakuthi uthola kufuthumama uyashisa uthola isobho uthola ukudla ufika la ujabule ujayile unkosikazi wami ungiphekele nawe mama uphatheka kabi if uphuma umadlakadlaka estradini usinathi hey uyangiphatha mama wani uzama ukuthi ube clean. So ama-Afrika ngisho ukuthi abomama yibo babalulekile and we must babe more sizokwazi to liberate this thing siqede nale mindset uma-Afrika uqinisile ukuthi singabi wostela kuphela nje we must have si-recruit abomama babe khona
even in terms of ukutshala because a woman futhi umuntu wesilisa uyangena a seed is planted there umama uyayikhulisa uyayimultiply. You understand? So our particular setup was then to say even certain things like ukutshala okunye okuthize bekumele kwenziwe abomama so that sine surplus, and masine surplus then means ukuthi a woman is the incubator and the grower of the economy and our life at large. We understand that don't know.
Esikhathini sakudala ngibone namanje mangivula la eBramfisher kusatshalwa sase before kufika iwinter batshala ummbila nje indawo ende, and then they had a section maybe half yale store itshaliwe but first off. So ngabuza ukuthi manje la lena ntshalile ine fence the rest of indawo wayingena fence. Le ndawo bayitshalile bathi indawo kaNomkhululwane So abomama yibo abatshala leya ndawo. Amadoda awafunakali lapha. Amadoda ke angatshala ancedise outside of the first area, but inside endaweni kaNomkhubulwane abafazi yiyo aba in charge. There's a reason. You know, le ndaba njengoba sikhuluma ngayo ukuthi abelungu bafikile babeka abomama emuva. You know, even mina mangiqala ngishisa amakhandlela ngiqala ngogogo ngiqala ngokhulu. Ngogogo nabomkhulu. Angeke imkhulu nabogogo ayenzi sense. Ayisound but now bafika bathatha abafazi babayise emuva. Even down to khulunywa ngaboshaka. Back then, umuntu beka important more than inkosi beka respect indlovukazi. You know, ukuthi when inkosi kusemuva indlovukazi ithini. Ezweni.
Ngicela ungena nami majoni because kancinci nje because uMafrika ibalulekile le point and I think ama-Afrika iphendule le point yokuthi what was our system. And ngokata Diop esithi pre-colonial Black Africa kwakusenzeka ntoni apha uthi we had matriarchal systems. So institutions zethu bezi-matriarchal not patriarchal. Bezi-centered on omama. Le nomama Afrika ibekayo. So ama-Africans ukuthi ayiclarifyile yonke la nto ama-Afrika and I think one of his amabhulu ayenzileyo is to destroy the nucleus of the nation, which is the family. They destroy. If we are unable to destroy, to build families, Africa, we can't build the communities. We can't build the cities. You see, so. That is where it all begins. And Africa Chino, Umama is the heart of the home. She's the heartbeat of the home, you see. She's the woman, she's the engineer, she's the everything, she's the head of the home. Zeterei. Ikaya Umama, you see. So this system here of the government, political government system, it was defined by law orientation in matriarchal, centered around moAfrika. The queens were the king makers. Bungabi king J out of nowhere. Indlovukazi. Actually, even the biggest man of Mali, but the biggest man you ever see was once a baby. You were born out of a woman. So the Europeans, which come with this concept, for example, that the woman is inferior. You see, the woman, according to Europeans, ne Arabs, according to Christianity and according to Islam, the woman is the originator of sin. Yes. They are the mother of evil, the originators of sin. Even when now in order, you sinned against God because the woman tempted you. You see, when I'm African, so patriarchy, yeah, Europeans, when a son of the soil. You see, even the idea of Obana, oh, God created a man first, and then in daughter came. I mean, a woman came out of Imbambo, of Indo. God does not make a law and break a law. If through the birth of the woman, which means the woman must have been there, my friend. Yes. You see, which means the first man was born of a woman. Yes. There's no way that a man gives birth to a woman. It's illogical. So Masanga believe in of Europeans. Are your reality? It's not based on reality, Lord. Yes. Patriarchy, patriarchy, because they want to put woman at a certain place in society. Africa never had as a concept as woman. Values, the schooling, Christianity, Bible, and all of these things that we need to eliminate out of certain concepts that we need to forget, leave behind if sizoya phambili. And if we don't do that, we'll remain in that situation.
Kukahle lemfundweni lokuni nibonisana yona ukuthi siphuma phi sisuka phi. Ngine believe ukuthi ubuntu is the highest form of civilization. Ubuntu or the African culture. I believe ukuthi kuna 3 cultures eziphikisanayo emhlabeni. One, European culture, domination, exploitation, yes, cruelty, killing. Then the second one, yama Asian Muslim and not. If you don't do into to Allah, they kill you. Ubuntu, mother of socialism, mother of mankind. Ubuntu bia kana bia ngedana. If yomhlaba kongarulwa ubuntu, awungabe kumnandi. Ngaba kuhlupheka, ngaba kubulalana, ngaba zonke lento. iChristianity mina believe ayiphuma ebuntwini. Ubuntu obudale uChristianity. So ukuthi njalo ngizama ukuthi ngizanishiya nequestion. Ukube akokuqala nonke ngiyabelieve ukuthi iPan-Africanism ingaba yiyo master ihlanganise ihlanganise imankind yonke nomhlaba. Can we administrative leader nokumanage izinto zethu? Yathi nayo yonke into iPan-Africanism in a socialism, in a democracy, in a modern management, a bottom up. So, good internet command, past. I'm going to emphasize the extremism of Tata sense and man. What is Pan-Africanism? Can Pan-Africanism be the government? Yeah, Africa young. See guide, see engine. The natural thing, Ubuntu.
This is the first class. So when the SSR let us move with it gradual. You know, let us look at pre-colonial Africa. To look at what did we do, and then with destruction of our civilization. So when resistance history, Pan-Africanism, you know, the emergence of Pan-Africanism globally, and all the figures, or Padmo, or Du Bois, or Garvey. I think we are still going there in the other lessons. So